my exotic family? Welcome back to another video on my channel. So today's video we're going to talk about one of my personal favorite snakes, and that is the Brazilian rainbow boa. So here I have Medusa, my Brazilian rainbow boa. You can see she is in shed, so we're not going to have her out super long. But I still kind of want to just go over general care for these guys and basically little things that I do to help, my Brazilian rainbow boa, basically thrive and, grow and basically, have a good life while they're in, in my collection, basically. So, obviously, where they're native to is in their name, Brazil, a few other places as well. They don't get super large, but they do get a pretty decent size. Usually right around the 5 to 6 feet average. Females are going to get bigger. They don't get as girthy as, say, blood python or ball python. So they are pretty much a more slender snake. So with that being said, as an adult, these guys should be housed in nothing smaller than a 4-foot enclosure. So as far as temperature requirements for these guys, they don't like it super warm. They actually like it a little cooler. So I keep Medusa, the hot spot at least, right around 84, 85. And then on the cool side is right around the low to mid 70s, so right around 73, 74. They seem to do pretty well with the with that temperature. And then also I don't know about many other Brazilian rainbow boas, but she loves to soak, so I have a decent sized water bowl. You never want something that's too big or too small, so she has one that's pretty nice size, something that she can fully submerge herself in, but also small enough to where she can get herself out of it, so we don't have to worry about her drowning or anything like that. And then I do spray her enclosure down pretty good to keep up the humidity. As babies, these guys like humidity very, very high. So with her being, she's pretty small. She's still a baby right now. She's a yearling. She actually turns 1 on June 20th. So with her being in shed, you actually try to keep her humidity right in the upper 80s to the mid to upper 90s. And then as adults, the humidity won't be as high, so you want that on the higher side. The humidity should be right around 70, 75. But as of right now, she's doing great. I mean, we get full sheds every time. So the substrate that I keep her on is I actually use Repti-Chip. The thing I like about Repti-Chip is I feed all of my snakes inside of their enclosure, and they all eat frozen thawed. So sometimes Medusa does not want to strike from the tongs and I have to lay it in there, and she wants to eat it from the substrate. The good thing I like about the Repti-Chip, it's pretty thick blocks, and what I like about it over other loose substrates like Eco Earth or any of the cocoa fiber, you don't have to worry about like there being any dirt or anything stuck on the mouse or the rat when you're trying to feed it to your snake. So that's a definite pro for me. Another thing I like about the Repti-Chip is it holds humidity very, very well. And like I said, we have no issues with it. So Repti-Chip is definitely a good way to go. But like I said, you can use Eco Earth or cocoa fiber or anything like that. Those are also great substrates that are going to help hold humidity. Now, as far as temperament, there's a lot of information online that says these guys are pretty nippy as babies, in which I'm sure for some cases that may be true, but it's not always the case. Since I've gotten Medusa, I've never had an issue with her being nippy, never being aggressive. She has a pretty decent food response. It's not super strong, not the strongest of all of my snakes, but I mean, I don't have to worry about her not feeding. She's never missed a meal. However, she's just the most laid back, relaxed snake in my collection personally. I want to say out of the 7, 8 snakes, how many snakes do I have? 7, 8? I have 7 or 8, 7 snakes. She's the only one that's never struck at me. So out of the 7 snakes I have, she's the only one that's never struck at me. I only have 2 that have actually bitten me, which is Venus, my green tree python, and Hubert, my scaleless Texas rat snake. Other than that, the rest of my snakes they usually just kind of struggling, don't want to be bothered, which is fine. Venus got me one day. I was going in there to grab the water bowl, change the water out, and there it was. But Venus is still pretty small, so it wasn't a bite, like I didn't bleed or anything. And Hubert was the same way. Like, I don't even know if Hubert actually bit me. I think that was more of a headbutt. But anyways, needless to say, temperament for these guys, definitely great. would I recommend them to be a beginner snake? No. And it's not because of their temperament, not because of that. It's mostly because of their care. They do require a pretty high humidity, and they're not the largest snake, but they do get a pretty decent size. So a 4-foot enclosure, like I said before, is the smallest size enclosure that I would keep one in. So that's definitely something an intermediate to advanced snake keeper should be prepared for. So right now she is kept in the rack you see behind me. As you can see, she's in shed now, and she's getting larger. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been talking about doing an upgrade series, which that is coming. I started with the tarantula and scorpion. Snakes are coming next. I'm just working on a few things, and we'll get that going. But basically what's going on is Luther, the big boa that I took in, he's finally over his respiratory. He's got all clear, so he's in his new enclosure, which is behind me on the floor. For those of you that don't know, or if you haven't seen the video that I posted, Luther came to me with a respiratory infection in a 40 breeder. Luther is a 6.5-foot snake, so I took him to the vet, had to get all that taken care of. Now he's all clear, he's in his new enclosure, he's doing perfectly fine. So now Kato, my blood python, which is right up here in this 3-foot PVC enclosure, is ready for the upgrade next. So we're also going to get him 4x2x2. He's about pushing around 3 foot, but he's definitely in need of an upgrade here pretty soon. Once I get Kato out the way, we will go ahead and get Miss Medusa squared away, and she will then go into the 3-foot PVC enclosure, where she will also have more space to stretch out and also a little bit of height to climb. She can't do much climbing in the tub. Although she is a burrower, I will say most of that is probably because there's nothing for her to climb on in the tub. But needless to say, after all that, great snakes, great temperament, handling, as you can see, even in shed, she is a very friendly snake. So temperament. Besides the temperament, besides them just being pretty laid-back snakes, when she's not in shed, they are very beautiful. These guys are probably one of the most sought-after snakes as far as their color. I'll go ahead and insert a picture just so you can see her out of shed. Obviously, they're called rainbow boas for a reason. So as you can see, they're very beautiful snakes. And personally, one of my favorites just because they're so chill, they're so pretty. They get a lot, they get pretty big, but not super unmanageable big like a retic or anything like that. So all in all, the care for these guys is very simple. As long as you do your research and you can handle one of these guys, I would definitely say go for it. They're not super expensive as far as to actually purchase. And also diet is pretty easy. These guys can be raised on all rodents. There's no reason to really switch up their protein source. They do great on just rodents. So with that being said, hopefully you guys that are debating if you want to get a Brazilian rainbow boa, or if you see this video and you would like one, in addition to this video, make sure you do additional research to make sure you fully understand how to care for these beautiful creatures. Don't use my video and just run with it. I don't know everything. I'm not an expert. I am simply just a fellow reptile lover sharing my knowledge and experience with others. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more updates on my animals, give this video a like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment and tell me which animal you'd like me to do a video on next. And as usual, I appreciate you watching. Have a good one.